Fight! Welcome to the TENDO show. Drugs are bad, but toys are good. We're about to blast off. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the TENDO show. I, of course, am TENDO. This is the lovely Hannah, and on today's episode, we're gonna do a lot. First of all, I've never had Peeps before, so to celebrate Easter, happy Easter, by the way, I'm gonna try Peeps for the first time. Is it crazy that I've never had Peeps?
I mean, I'm just shocked that you've been able to avoid them this long.
Well, I'll talk about why I've avoided them later on in the video when we get to that. In case I don't like what I taste in the first ones. We got some chocolate covered ones also. But also, we have some weird Peep lemonade. I like lemonade, so I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But also on this episode, we're going to do something pretty cool. I think we're going to talk about Miss Hannah's Bratz dolls. But not really just Bratz dolls. This isn't going to be like a, let's just talk about Bratz dolls. It's more about how she plans on organizing said Bratz dolls. So we want to have a conversation with you guys when we get to that point about, say, some of your maybe more advanced organizing and collecting techniques. I think that's really important because I do want the point of this show, at least in portion, to be about the trash, right? We're standing here in this room full of stuff that we've thrifted, that we've brought home, and I do want these live shows moving forward to be at least in some part about our collection and what we're doing. I want this to be a trash podcast. Hannah, how does that sound?
I mean, that sounds just like us.
It does. A trash cast. A trash cast.
Trash cast.
That is not easy to say. Do it again.
Trash cast.
Trash cast. You can't do it. All right. So, but that's pretty much going to be the point of today's episode. But before we get into that, Hannah, who's here? Shout them out.
Oh, everybody's here. Taylor is here. Angela Mackey. Alice Carvo. Hillary Murphy. Adrian Goldnagger. Joe. Ivan. Everybody's here, and they're digging your suit.
Oh, yeah? You got, ooh! I was not going to address the suit, but how do you guys feel about this one? It's a customized by Hannah. I was going to say it's a Hannah custom, but it's not like you made it.
No.
But you heavily customized it. Should we show it off fully, or should we just leave it and see if they notice what's going on?
I feel like you should show it off.
All right, well, let me walk it off. Let me start over here. Can I get off camera? Yeah, I'm off camera. All right,
Yep.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Can I exit stage left? I
Nope.
guess. I can almost get off stage
Your
left.
booty couldn't get off.
We just customized this black suit with some yellow buttons. I, of course, have a Pikachu and a pineapple pin on today to match the yellow theme. But the vest has the buttons, the jacket has the buttons, but that's not the best part. I might have to come closer to the camera. Ooh, no, we can do it right here. Look at this. All right, so yellow on the sleeves, right?
Hey.
Get ready for this, though. This is like an Easter egg. I'm not going to tell anybody else about this. Boom!
Hey.
Boom! I got the fanciest arms of the West, baby.
Are you excited that it's only on one because you like the little surprise?
Well, that happened because where did we get them? Joann's?
Joann's.
They didn't have enough for both. And once you put them on, I was like, yeah, no, it's better. Because it makes it a little less noticeable. It's like an Easter egg, like I said. So I think I might actually leave it that way.
Happy accident.
Yeah, very happy accident. But I do like this. The biggest letdown of today, though, is that I was not able to secure a yellow tie. But I do all my clothes shopping at the Goodwills, at the bins, and I found no yellow tie that suits the suit. But maybe by next week, I'll have a yellow tie for this one or for the next customized suit. I'm going to try to get a few more Hannah customs to wear on this show. Because why not?
We're just gonna slowly devolve every single suit until you have
until
color block suits on.
Until I'm out in a Big Bird onesie.
I'm just gonna color on everything. You're gonna have child's hand-drawn crayons all over it.
All right. Well, what are the people saying today? We've got a good little bit of time before we want to jump into talking about Peeps and Bratz and stuff. So you guys got any questions from the last week's worth of thrifting? Definitely drop them below. That's kind of another important point moving forward. If you get through our videos on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and you get a question about an item or about something we said or something we bought, definitely come to this live show to get those questions answered, because that's what we're going to make this show about in large part. What do we got?
Everybody's very concerned / curious about this Peeps lemonade.
Oh my gosh, I'm very worried about it. It's supposed to be, like a marshmallow flavored lemonade, and I like lemonade. I don't dislike marshmallows, but I also don't actively seek them, so it could go either way. But we're definitely going to try it. If you might see me barf, so if you got a weak stomach, maybe drop off by the time we get to there.
Maybe you could just go to the trash can off screen. We could just listen to it instead of have to actually see it.
Is that really better?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. I am pretty concerned about it. What else we got?
It's going to be, I mean, honestly, marshmallow flavored lemonade sounds like the worst concoction I could ever think of.
Yeah, it sounds awful. And but we're going to try it. I'm going to try it with an open mind. Who else is here?
Braden asked a great question. It's about our recent trip to Vegas.
Oh,
How
yeah.
was taking the smart car to Vegas? And I'm sure you enjoyed the gas mileage.
Well, first and foremost, when it comes to the smart car, gas mileage is king. It's hard to explain because we're coming out of this period of our lives where we were in our young 20s and broke. The level we were broke, especially when we lived in LA prior to moving here, which was the genesis of this channel and everything we're doing now. We were just two broke kids with nothing, and we've pretty much, in that entire time of being broke, only owned gas guzzler cars, right? And for the longest time, I could never have imagined being able to afford anything that could get 30 plus miles a gallon. You know, my friends that own, I don't know, hybrids, and what is it that my buddy owns? What does Nathan own? You remember what kind of car that is? It's a hybrid.
It's a Toyota, isn't it?
No,
it's a Hyundai.
It's a Hyundai.
Yeah.
And it gets like 60 miles to the gallon because it's a hybrid. It's a combination. And I've longed for that. Now that we have it, it's just hard to believe. So any of those downsides of size and stuff like that, it doesn't matter. It goes out the window. We've yet to have a moment we've in it where we regretted it and wish we had a whole bunch more room. I mean, obviously we're strapping stuff to the roof and driving it home, and that's kind of silly, but we love it. And it's comfortable, and also most cars I ride in, I can't keep cool enough in this hot Phoenix weather, right?
Yes.
But the car's so small that the air conditioner just freezes you out because it's just right there in your face. And that's another huge pleasure driving at home. But thanks for that question.
It's a small space to like cool off really quickly, so it does actually help because as some of y'all are chatting about in the chat today, it was like 100 degrees in Phoenix today.
Yeah, did someone mention that in the chat?
Yeah, we've got a little convo going on. Christine Douglas, okay, can someone tell me why it was almost 100 degrees today in AZ? Hopefully the lemonades are refreshing.
It was pretty funny when Ivan and Monique, who spent the last week in Vegas with us, when they left here in Phoenix, like they just realized what they were missing out on because it had been beautiful weather the whole week they were here, and that day they were packing, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning and 95 degrees. He was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "Welcome to my world, buddy."
No, it's insane. I mean, I'm not ready for the heat to come back quite yet.
I also don't really envy you people down in Texas and the Midwest with your humidity either. So yeah, it's whatever. But our smart car there's so many reasons that we'll continue to find out. I feel like that it was a good buy because it was fun. It was fun to drive at Vegas and back. I don't get too uncomfortable driving it. You know, our bread truck, we've driven it to Vegas and back once. It's real rigid and the seats aren't that comfortable.
Yeah.
I felt like I was sitting in a glove. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that in the bread truck you can leave the doors open so that, like, breeze flowing through. I mean, I'm always terrified to leave the doors open because I'm afraid that I'm going to accidentally, like, yeet my phone out the window for no reason.
For sure. But Vegas was fun, and I'm glad that we went. I can't wait to go again. As far as the Goodwill Bins goes, we haven't been back to our Goodwill Bins here in town yet because we're almost depressed about it because... given COVID restrictions and stuff, it's just not going to be good compared to how Vegas was.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much more complicated to deal with the bins here because of the COVID restrictions. But it's surprising that even with the COVID restrictions, there are so many people in the Phoenix bins. And it was kind of nice that it's such a small bins in Vegas that there wasn't as many people.
Right.
But that many people crammed in a small space, it was still a little bit like hard to dig through, but you know.
Yeah, but that and the food were the two best things. I mean, we spent time with friends, which was great. Really, the first time. I mean, now that COVID restrictions are kind of lifting and we can see some friends and stuff, it's just been nice. What else we got?
Larry, the STS guy, asked, have you watched Godzilla and King Kong yet?
Yes, we watched it the day it premiered. And honestly, we spent such a long time prior to, about the time we started this channel, prior to then, we were terrible about watching TV. We were not caught up on anything. There's a lot of things from the last 10 years that we're trying to catch up on now. And Godzilla reiterated this in my mind because we sat down and watched it and then instantly realized that it was a sequel. That, you know, Millie Bobby Brown and other characters were in that first Godzilla movie, and we never saw it. I barely even remember it coming out. So now we've got to actually go back in reverse order and watch the other one. Yeah. But we did watch it. Do you have any official review, Hannah?
You know, sitting down to watch that movie, I realized I really have never seen any King Kong movie, at least none that made a huge impact on me. So I was just kind of like, wait, I'm lost. And
so you've probably never, I guess you've probably never seen a King Kong or Godzilla movie, really.
I've definitely never seen a Godzilla movie,
okay.
But I may have seen one King Kong movie, like a long time ago when I was a kid.
You probably saw the Peter Jackson one.
Probably,
it was
yeah.
out around, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean. You probably saw that in theaters or something.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, and I'm glad you asked that question, because we definitely need to maybe keep up in this podcast about what we're watching and stuff, which we've been watching plenty of stuff lately, but I was very happy to watch that, but I'm a little bummed that it was kind of her first adult experience with King Kong and Godzilla. We were this close to going to the theater, but of course the theater has huge restrictions. I mean, they're like 20 people per 200-seat, arena, stadium, whatever, and we could not get a ticket. So we were like, well, we have HBO, which we only just started paying for because of Justice League. So we watched it here at home, and I was just kind of like, you know what? I really wish, for her sake, we'd have seen it on IMAX or in theater.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I have a almost 70-inch TV. It's nice, and you sit pretty close to the bedroom. It starts to feel kind of big like a theater, but it's not enough. And Godzilla, King Kong, they need to be seen on IMAX. I am of the person. That's my personal opinion. But what does anybody say anything about it in the chat? And also you who asked that question, let us know what you thought. I mean, it was fine. Plot, structure, all those things is not really something I care to really review in a film like that. It's about two giant creatures fighting each other. It was kind of cool when they went into the center of the earth. Spoilers, I guess, but it was worth watching. I'm glad I watched it.
Speaking of going to the center of the earth, Kyle Thompson said Millie only makes movies where there's an upside down universe.
It's in her contract. She has to go somewhere that's upside down. Very astute observation on your behalf. What else?
Pretty funny. Where'd it go? Okay, Bloody Bones said Godzilla in 1985 was a great movie. Did you watch that one?
I probably saw most of those when I was a kid. I don't have much memory of them now, but yeah, we're definitely going to go back and watch some of that. I mean, the amount of movies, I'm trying to think of a better way to say this. We got locked down for COVID, right? As soon as we were stuck at home and had nothing to do, Hannah and I really for the first time started binge watching movies and shows together. Yeah. Prior to that, we'd never done it, because prior to that, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't pay for streaming services. And really, it wasn't too long before we just never even own a TV. Like, seriously, when we first moved here to Phoenix, our first TV was like not a CRT, but like a large back projection TV that we found in the trash, and it had spots on the screen. It was awful.
Yeah.
But COVID lockdown kind of sparked us to start watching a lot of movies together, and so we've just been going through a huge back catalog. And one of these days, we'll just have to be like, you know what, this week, let's watch some Godzilla, let's watch some King Kong. Especially, I think you'd like the Peter Jackson one with Jack Black and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty, it's a Peter Jackson movie. I'm not saying it's like The Hobbit or anything, but it's Peter Jackson. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, we did that recently with all of Miyazaki films. Like almost all of them, we sat down and just watched them straight through, and we almost feel like doing that again now because we have HBO. And did you say a lot of them are on there, or was that on?
Yes, they are.
Or whatever. We've just started paying for a couple of streaming services, and we found a lot of that stuff to be on there.
Yeah, and I'm honestly so excited about HBO. I hadn't really looked through the catalog that much, but the second I saw that Cartoon Network was on there and a lot of the Miyazaki films are on there,
right.
like am extremely excited about our purchase.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And we have been watching a lot of animated shows too. Hannah and I both liked Rick and Morty, when it started, but Hannah liked it to like an irrational degree. It turns out, and I didn't know this about Hannah prior to this period, even though we're going on 10 years together, which is, it's a good sign if you're still finding out new, interesting, I think, interesting things about your significant other after 10 years. She just turns out likes cartoons more than I ever could have.
I really do. If I want to sit down and just like have just a joyous time, I want to watch something kid related, like
or something animated. I mean, because some of the animated shows I've walked by your workshop and heard you listen to, I wouldn't say they were kid shows. Would you agree?
This is true.
But I mean, they're not that bad. It's not like she's watching anything. But like, what's the one that's with the Big Mouth? Is it called Big Mouth?
Yeah. So that one's definitely
not recommended for your cheerleaders.
I binge watched that one really quickly. Some friends of ours watched 1 or 2 episodes with us, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. And then I watched the entire thing really quickly, and I was just like, this was entirely inappropriate, but I liked it.
Yeah, and then this week we've been watching Steven Universe, and this is definitely one I'd love you guys to comment below and let me know if you've seen. Steven Universe, probably our favorite cartoon, almost probably tied for our number 1 or in second. What do you think?
That is a very good question. I am over the moon about this show. Like, whenever I started to watch it, I was looking through HBO and I was like, I want a show that is going to change my life. Like, I'm ready for that.
Ready for something really good.
I was like, give me something amazing here. And I turned it on and I was like, I feel like this is going to be good. And then I watched the first episode. I was like, I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then it's been 30 episodes and not even 48 hours yet. So.
Yeah. Well, that's because they're 11-minute episodes, which I think is what adds to its perfection. It's boiled down to the absolute best 10 minutes of a TV show. And I'm going to give this TV show a highly recommended. So if you have HBO Max, it's definitely on there. I don't know where else you can find it on the internet. Go buy it on DVD or something. Best cartoon we've seen in a long time.
So good.
Second, or tied with first, but probably second only to a cartoon called Over the Garden Wall,
which is also on HBO.
Is it on there?
It is the best streaming service. That is my vote right now.
That's high praise. I would agree. It's definitely really good. I'm kicking stuff over.
I've had Netflix since I was like since you could get a streaming service. And so I would have told you Netflix is the best one, like for sure.
Yeah,
but
because at some point that's about the only one you knew.
This is true.
I appreciate that Disney has Disney stuff. That makes it good, and Netflix was always good. I personally have binge watched The West Wing all the way through about a dozen times now. And Netflix was good for that, but I almost feel like I can cancel it because West Wing is on HBO. Has anyone watching seen Over the Garden Wall or Steven? Or is anyone saying anything about it? Or no one cares?
Larry SDS says he loves Steven Universe. So you, my friend, have good taste.
Well, I personally now want a hamburger backpack after watching it.
Oh my God.
If I don't walk out next week onto this live show with a hamburger backpack, just unsubscribe.
It's so good. And like the music in it and all his little songs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. Jeremy says, I loved Duckman. Do you know what that one is?
I do not. Jeremy, let us know where that can be watched, what streaming service or whatever, and maybe we'll check it out.
Emma H says, have you seen Uncle Grandpa? Do you know that one?
No, I don't. We're going to have to start Googling some of these.
I know.
We'll bookmark this, and we'll definitely come back and look at you guys' suggestions, because I feel like we're going to blow through Steven Universe in like another day or two.
Yeah.
Because it goes so quick. But if you've got any other recommendations like that, let us know, and we'll definitely check them out. We're definitely going to have a couple cartoon weeks, because as soon as Steven Universe is over, we're going to be like, oh, we need more. Give me more. I need more.
I need more. Demon Slayer? Mickey Leonard said that's a good one.
Is that an anime? You know what? That definitely is an anime. I think I saw some artwork for it in the mall or something the other day. We've scratched the surface together post-COVID on some anime. What did we watch together? Barely counts, but it counts. We watched Monster Rancher all the way through together.
We did. I really liked it, actually.
Well, you know, kids animes made in the late 90s and early 2000s are kind of like a progression from Ninja Turtles. You understand Ninja Turtles was made, well, it was a comic book first, but when it was mass marketed, it was to sell toys. It's kind of same thing for He-Man. Mass marketed to sell toys. So when they did this in the late 90s, early 2000s, you got things like Beyblade. You got things like Power Rangers. You got things like, just all those shows you can think of where toys were a huge component. Those came out and sold toys. So we've kind of been going over some of those together, is what I'm trying to say, Hannah and I. So like we're going to watch Beyblade together because we're putting together like the super ultimate awesome Beyblade in review video for our second channel, Rubber Duck Yellow, which you should go subscribe to in the video's description. But we're going to make one on Monster Rancher too. But like we've got to watch them together so we can talk about them together and then make real good content about them. So I say this to say, some of those good animes that you can suggest, we definitely need to get around to watching them, but it's probably going to be a while because we've got a lot of that 90s, early 2000s kiddie stuff to get through first.
We do, and the 90s era cartoons are my favorite. Like Courage the Cowardly Dog is on HBO, and I'm very excited about that. I've started rewatching it a little bit, but it is just the same exact story over and over. So it's a lot like, Power Rangers is. You like watch one episode and you're like, I know what's happening. I get it. Like,
you get the idea. I understand that for sure. What else we got?
There's something called Samurai Pizza Cats, and I think I need to know more.
Yeah, I guess you can sign me up for Samurai Pizza Cats.
Samurai Pizza Cats. There's a ton of good suggestions on here, like Thundercats, Silverhawks. That's the show that Ivan was talking about.
Those are some late 80s stuff,
yes.
Right?
My brother was obsessed with Thundercats when he was a kid.
Well, that's a whole nother, that's a whole nother universe of stuff to talk about. The cartoons we're talking about that we're watching right now are last 5 years, almost adult animation, definitely made and marketed towards adults. You can put Bob's Burgers in that same category. We'll have to definitely in the future do sections of this live show about some different eras because we could just don't get me started on some 80s, 90s cartoons, but those are good ones. What else?
Mr. Tribute's Trees of Autonomy. Two Stupid Dogs was the original cartoon, I believe. Is that about Courage? Is that like Courage the Cowardly Dog's original name? I'm very curious what you're talking about there.
Two Stupid. Oh, okay. Who knows?
I don't know. Anyway, because the Eustace, the old man in that show, always calls him Stupid Dog, but
yeah. Well, that's kind of the problem, right? I don't know. I've definitely seen Courage the Cowardly Dog, but a lot of these shows will have had original runs on some other platform, some other. You never know where they started. Like, the origin of Ninja Turtles is a lot different and a lot less kiddie than you would think if you don't know much about it.
Is that another type of Ninja Turtle show?
What's that?
What you were talking about?
No, it was a comic book and it was real dark.
Oh, okay.
Like, turtles were like murdering people and stuff. Just a lot different than the bubbly Michelangelo, just, just a lot different. But that happens. But, when someone realizes the toy potential, things get changed. Got to mass market those bad boys. What else?
Let's see. Call of Duty Boss asked, have you decided on a name for the smart car?
We haven't. It's hard. It's hard because when we named our van, we were not particularly people that were ever into naming inanimate objects. But we started calling it Betsy, and then we just out of nowhere, and then we started building, a kind of a camper van component into it, and then it became basically a member of this channel, and then therefore had more weight. So now that we have 2 more vehicles, we got to name those, and we've almost put ourselves in a bit of a box because it just seems like too much pressure to name them, because once we do, it's got to stick.
Yeah.
I will say we've had a couple good suggestions, and we'll probably bring those up in a video very soon. I don't know if we'll decide in said video, but we'll definitely kind of read some of the better suggestions we've got. Unfortunately, too many of the suggestions have been like actual character pairs, right? Batman, Robin, Pinky,
yeah.
Brain. And we're not going to do that. There's no chance we name it something already established. It's Salt and Pepper, yeah, maybe, but not, probably no cartoon characters or TV shows. That just doesn't really suit us per se, but I would say 95% of the suggestions you guys have come up with have been that kind of thing. So if you want to drop some suggestions below, we can have a little brainstorming sesh right now before we move on to the peeps.
For sure.
But try to think outside the box. Try to give us something clever. You know, a lot of the ones with bread and crumbs and stuff like that was pretty good. Those were probably some of the better ones. But I didn't prepare anything for the show to get into the other ones. But we can definitely hear a few. What else?
Matthew Bowerman says, I miss old Betsy.
You know, he's still sitting in our parking lot. We still haven't had anybody pick him up yet. I do miss Betsy too. But I would say since we got the smart car, I miss it less.
Yeah.
Because when we got the bread truck, part of missing Betsy was like having something a little bit more normal to drive. Smaller, which is kind of funny to say because in a lot of ways, even though the bread truck's a lot bigger, it's a lot easier to maneuver because of how high up you're setting. But now that we have the smart car, I haven't thought too much about it. What else?
Naming the axe? Or, well, we already named the axe. Let's see.
The axe already has a name. It's just transferred. I could get another axe for the smart car, but, you know, that's not really a lot of places to attach an axe onto the smart car.
It's very true. Style of the world suggested crumb crawler. I like that.
Crumb crawler for the...
Crumb, like a breadcrumb crawler.
Oh, crumb. Crumb crawler. Gotcha. Not bad. It needs to be, I don't know. You know, Betsy is just like, oh, Betsy. Do you feel the emotion I feel when I say, oh, Betsy?
It does have like a certain type of feeling to it, you know.
Well, it does, and then also maybe conflictingly in my own mind, in some ways I try not to get too attached to the bread truck because it was just let's buy this now, it's cheap utility. We took a camping trip in it. We've been using it even off camera to haul stuff, you know, back and forth to our storage unit. It's just a utility vehicle that we needed, and I haven't imprinted feelings onto it like I've had for, you know, the van. You know, that might sound terrible. I don't know. It depends on how much weight you put in inanimate objects, but I haven't been too driven to name it. But I'm telling you, I'm loving this smart car. I'm pretty close to catching them feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a nice little. Every time I walk up to it, I'm just like, it's so small. It's so dumb.
I definitely keep having moments with it where I lose it and I don't see it in the parking lot, or I don't know, hiding behind something. Just there's a tree there because of the tree thickness of the branches. Like I don't see it. It's so small. It's like I've seen we've been out on the road. There's a north part of town where in the city limits you're allowed to drive around in golf carts, and we've been up there and I've seen golf carts that have been superimposing on our smart car. It's absurd.
It's ridiculous. A common name that's coming up is actually the Furby Finder, or just Furb.
I think we just named the smart car.
Is it? Is it the Furby Finder?
No, just Furb. It does.
The Furb.
Why we need to fashion some black ears to put on top of it.
Oh my
just call
God.
It Furb.
They need to be yellow ears.
Yellow ears on the black fur, and then I can climb out in this suit. Oh boy!
Oh my God!
Now we're cooking. We're cooking.
We're getting somewhere.
Have multiple people actually suggested that?
Multiple people suggested the Furby Finder. Let me find the original person to the Furb.
I do like the Furb.
Ando Gamer, there you are. The car should be called Furb.
That's awesome.
Well done.
I do quite like that.
That is good. I just feel like whenever you named Betsy, you just kind of started joking one day. You're like, oh Betsy.
Well, up until that point where we started working on our van on this channel to turn it into a camper, to drive it to Texas, to drive it to wherever we were going and to take trips in. Up until that point, it was just a kind of a hobby, an interest of mine, you know, van life, van dwelling, camper van conversions, that kind of thing. I didn't talk about it ever on the channel, but it kind of got to the point where I realized that this channel wasn't just a video game channel, it wasn't just a thrifting channel. It was really just a place for us to share our interests with you guys, and all at once, almost overnight, I started doing van builds on this channel, and it actually turned out really good. People were like, a lot of the common reoccurring comments were like, I didn't know I was into this kind of thing, but it turns out I am. And there's even people that have messaged me pictures of vans they've bought, not in total because we didn't just influence someone to buy a van. That's been unrealistic. But, you know, people that were already stewing on the idea and then saw us do it, and they were like, okay, let's maybe give this a try. It's been a really interesting journey, including that stuff in our channel. I mean, obviously, look, we've been standing here for 20 minutes now talking about the car and the van together and stuff. I mean, it's obviously a huge part of our lives now.
Oh, for sure. I think it's decided. People are spamming Ferb. They're voting.
All right, so let's do this real quick before we move on from this topic. Spam, yes, Ferb. What should they spam? Hold on, don't spam anything. Just yay or nay.
Yeah.
if you're for the car being named Ferb right now, spam yay. And if you're for it just not being named yet and waiting, then spam nay.
Okay. I'm excited for this to come in.
Yeah, we'll just wait for the spam. You gotta spam it though. We gotta see who wins out.
Oh, the fast and the Furbiest. Well, that's good.
That is pretty good.
And it would be ironic for the red truck to be called the Fast.
The Fast and the Furby. So that's, I could imagine some pretty good bumper stickers for this. But if it gets named Ferb, then what is the truck going to be named that goes with that?
We're getting a lot of yays. Couple nays. But we're getting a bunch of yays. I think the yays are overwhelming.
It is from where I'm standing.
Call it Boomhauer.
Maybe that should be the bread truck. Ferb and Boomhauer.
Oh my gosh. I think, this is an overwhelming majority to yay.
The smart car is now named Ferb, I guess. But here's the real problem. We didn't announce this on a main channel video. Not a big deal. Obviously, you guys watching are a huge part of our core audience. You're down with us enough to come hang out with us an hour every week live. I'm just going to have to start tomorrow's video or maybe the next day's video. We've already shot tomorrow's video, so I won't be able to say it then. But you know what I'm going to do? Because there's like 300, 400 people here watching right now, but our daily videos get about 4,000 views. I'm just going to start calling it Ferb in the main channel videos, which means we get about 6,000 views a day. Between 4 and 7,000 views a day. There's going to be about 5,000 people that are just like, what? What, you named it and you just didn't tell us? Well, like, sorry, you didn't come to the live show. That's pretty good. All right, well, Ferb it is. But now what do we name the truck?
Well, Niagara Joe suggested we name the truck Boomhauer.
Boomhauer and Ferb. I'll stew on that one. I don't want to listen. You had to move me a lot to get me to name the car today. I've been so skittish about it.
It's very true.
I don't think I'm going to name the truck today, but I do like Boomhauer. I'm not going to lie, I do like it.
The Fast and the Furbiest makes me laugh.
Boomhauer is so good because with my natural born accent,
Boomhauer.
There's just no way I say it and it doesn't sound ridiculous. Boomhauer.
Oh. I mean, the obvious choice is Phineas to go with Ferb.
No, it's not.
That's not. We don't want duos.
I don't. I'm not for it. I'm entirely against that. Personal
we need
preference.
nonsense. Just utter nonsense.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody that's watching right now, do me a huge favor before we move on. Hit that like button. Let's get this video over 100 likes. It's sitting at about 70 right now. And with all several hundred of you that are here right now, we can definitely push that over the top. But this is another cool aspect, I think, of the live show potentially. We definitely are always going to come here with some plans of what to talk about. But I like it when we get pulled different directions because I have been anxious about naming this car.
Yeah. I mean, even with the bread truck, I just didn't feel like it was right. You know? We kept going, we need to name it before this trip. We need to name it before this day. We need to name it. It just never felt time.
I don't know, I haven't had a kid yet to name. I don't know if you guys have gotten this anxious. Maybe let us know in the comments below about naming your kid. I don't know, at the same time, I feel like I've got a pretty good idea what I want to name a boy or a girl if we have one.
Well, the boy, we've been a little bit, we haven't nailed down. I know what your girl option is.
What's the boy we've agreed on?
Have we agreed on one? What was your thought?
You just said we did.
I thought you said we did. I don't know. I really like.
I can't think of anything right now we could agree on.
I think a long time ago you had mentioned that you liked the name Leo, which I really liked because it's actually my grandfather's father's name.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm fine with that one, but we have controversy on the girl's name.
Yeah, I like, I like playing it. If I have a daughter, she's gonna be 6 foot tall, standing flat-footed. Do you know what I mean? Look at me. I'm 6'6". She's gonna be big.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean,
good.
I'm not small either.
She's probably going to be just like Daddy. She's going to be loud. Why not give her a bold name? And why not give her a name that sounds like she is the daughter of Dallas? Like Winona. That's the one I really like that Hannah doesn't.
I mean, we can talk about it. I don't know. You can't say Winona. You have to say Winona.
Well,
or Winona.
That's kind of the problem. I mean, that's really how my name is. Listen, my name's Dallas Blanton.
But what if
Try to say that without sounding country.
What if she wants to be like New York chic and she wants to be Winona or something like fancy? It just sounds weird.
That was a hard W. Winona. No.
Winona.
Absolutely not.
Pencil Cube, happy Easter as well. Thank you for the dono.
Thank you. We'll buy some Easter chocolate with that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, some Cadbury eggs, as someone suggested we do not have here. I almost bought some today.
Listen, I like those all right, but too sweet. Too much.
I loved them whenever I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, it's Easter Cadbury eggs.
How did you eat your Cadbury eggs? Did you have a method? I sure did.
So you can't just wallop that thing in your mouth. Your teeth will rot out instantly. But I always felt weird doing the eat the top off and then licking the cream out of the center. Right. It felt really wrong. So
I always just bit the top off and then rolled my tongue up like this. And then sucked it through my tongue like a straw.
That's gonna take talent. Maybe we should have bought some today so you can demonstrate.
This was a missed opportunity, I now realize.
Dang it.
But that's what I tend to do with them. I guess speaking of which, you guys keep the questions and the comments coming in, and we're gonna jump into trying the Peeps, which is gonna be threefold. We have regular Peeps. I'm trying really hard not to call them Pops. All day today, while we were shooting, I kept calling them, or before we were shooting, I kept calling them Pops, and Hannah was like, quit calling them Pops, you're going to say it on the video. And I feel like I am going to go back to edit the footage for this to put on our Clips channel, which you should also go subscribe to, link below. I feel like I'm going to go edit it and find myself saying it 20 times. But we've got regular Peeps, not Pops. We got some with some chocolate. Peeps Delights, marshmallow dipped in decadent milk chocolate. And then we have some Peeps lemonade. But we're going to do that last to wash it down. Hannah, while I divvy up these Peeps, you can go ahead and start preparing said lemonade.
The lemonade. You know, you can make Peeps. So maybe we need to make some pop-shaped Peeps.
Pop-shaped Peeps. That's really hard to wrap your head around, to be honest.
Pop Peeps.
Well, you know what? Hannah's upbringing included a lot more making foods and cooking weird stuff than my upbringing did. We had pretty straightforward cafeteria food in my household because we were all boys and we were all large. But I'm saying this to say, Hannah, did you make Peeps growing up? Is that why you know this?
No. Honestly, we had a heck of a time today trying to find some Peeps
for the
live show, and I was like, maybe we just need to make them.
That's what made you think about it?
Yes.
That we did have such a hard time finding Peeps. Now, basically, I remember last year, I feel like I heard it on a late night show or something. Someone threw out a joke about the Peeps factory shutting down, which I thought was wild. But apparently last year there was a pretty serious shortage of Peeps, which makes me want to do what we're about to do all the more, because I have no understanding of Peeps and what's going on with them. I guess if I were to assume just from what has entered into my brain in the last 2 years, seeing them in stores, they're pretty much an Easter candy, right?
Yeah, I always thought they were just at Easter.
Well, it turns out they make them for about all holidays. It's a very seasonal kind of candy. And for whatever reason, because of COVID and other things, they basically haven't been making them at all for the last year, except for Easter, to meet Easter demand. And this is what we read in some articles and stuff before we went live today, because we knew we were going to do this. We thought that was crazy, because this does not look appetizing to me. I'm just going to be honest with you. This doesn't do anything for me. This does nothing. And honestly, I just touched one with my thumb. Come here and touch this.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't like them.
The texture, it's not even texture like a marshmallow. Here, you get a whole tray.
Just going to eat them all.
Yeah. They don't do anything for me. Comment below before we try them out. Let us know if you like Peeps at all, if you're into them whatsoever, if you have a better way to eat them, because I feel like I'm going to try this and I'm just going to be pretty against them. Personally, that's how I feel. Did you just smell the mix?
I couldn't help but smell it. It's got a very interesting smell.
I'm about to smell the marshmallow lemonade mix. That's awful.
It
smells like a protein shake.
It smells
It smells like a workout protein shake.
It does, but it is not healthy. I can promise you.
Here, let's get the top-down camera on while you do this, and let's watch it disseminate.
All right.
Disintegrate? Disseminate's not really a proper word for that.
Disintegrate. Bloop.
How many do you need to put in there?
3.
Okay.
I'm making a half batch because I do not need a whole pitcher of this. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to like it. I'm afraid it's going to taste like a protein shake. That's all it smells like. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I just need to shove a few in my mouth. I can't eat them too much sugar. That's probably going to be my problem too. Hannah and I always have this differing thing with candy growing up. I've never been much for candy. I'm barely much for sweets. I like drinking sweet things, really. I mean, lemonade, and I'll stay drinking that more than I will eating candy.
We've got some mixed opinions on the Peeps.
Does anyone just love them? Does anyone just like have to have them? Like, does Easter roll around and you've got to go get Peeps and it's like a treat for the year?
Apparently everyone in Phoenix feels that way because there were no Peeps to be had.
We stopped at 6. Listen, here's actually what happened. Here's the real story about what happened. And watch tomorrow's episode and you'll see what I'm talking about. But we were out doing our normal Sunday routine. It's kind of the day we take off. So we can do this later in the day, but we also go do groceries and all that stuff. So about halfway through our trip about town, I think someone texted. No, we stopped at one of our favorite game stores, and it was not opening until an hour later than normal because Easter. And I was like, holy crap, it's Easter. I had no idea. Actually, we had a kind of different idea for today's live show, but we realized, well, we need to have an Easter celebration. And so Hannah went, Peeps. And I went, okay, let's go get Peeps. And then we went to Walmart, and there were no Peeps. And then we went to the dollar store, and there were no Peeps. And then we went everywhere else, and there were no
Target
Peeps.
is just closed today.
Target's closed on Sunday, or on Easter. Had no idea. And finally, we stopped at a Walgreens on the way home. And
it was like a last-ditch effort. We were just like, Walgreens has candy. Let's see.
Yeah, so we got lucky and found some. And then it's a good thing we did, because I've honestly never tried them. I have never in my life tried them. So let's talk about that before I actually try it. I've been just kind of looking at it, dreading it. But I was able to avoid them because no one in my family like expressly loved them.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, it kind of seemed like a C-tier candy. It just seemed like, I don't know, like, you know, your grandmother handed you the butterscotch candy in the church pew when you were a kid in church, at least mine did. And that was never candy that I would just say no to. But it was definitely not candy that I ever saw at Walmart or at a candy store. I was like, gotta buy those. That's how I felt about it.
I mean, I like the butterscotch candy, though, so I feel a little, I'm like, well, I would definitely choose the butterscotch before I would ever choose a Peep.
Right. Well, go ahead.
Since you've never had a Peep, though, you've never put one in the microwave.
No, is that really a thing?
It is.
I couldn't tell. A lot of people commented that on this video before it went live. Some people said it on the Discord, and I didn't know if that was a thing people actually did or if that was like a aluminum foil in the microwave trick where someone was trying to make me blow my house up or destroy my microwave.
The aluminum foil trick you definitely should not do, though.
Listen, this is a PSA TENDO show public announcement. Don't ever put anything in the microwave that someone on the internet tells you to.
It's probably a good plan.
The end. Don't ever do it. But that's it. So tell us your childhood perception of Peeps, and then we're gonna down them.
I wanted to like Peeps as a kid. You know, you get things that are specifically for holidays, and you're like, it's time for this candy. Let's enjoy it. And so I would always get it for Christmas, for Easter.
Right.
And I'd put one in my mouth, and I would go, this is fine.
Well, see, you really like candy corn.
I do.
I feel kind of how you're saying that about corn. Like when Halloween comes around, when fall comes around, I'll eat some candy corn, but I don't think about it for the rest of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do though. I actually genuinely enjoy candy corn.
Right. Well, I want to look at this one more time before we eat it. Are those little eyeballs, are those supposed to be chocolate?
That's a great question. I've never considered that ever.
All right, well, there's just sugar on the outside. All right, let's just do it.
Yes.
Are you ready?
It's colored sugar. All right.
Well,
how are you going to do this?
We're
What's
both
your
throwing
method?
the whole thing in.
The whole thing? Oh, God. Okay.
All right, you ready?
All right. 3,
2,
1. Oh.
That's awful.
Oh. No. The marshmallow's fine. It's just
The coating.
It's so gross.
Listen, that's literally a marshmallow. They've probably cooked it a little bit, just like not even cooked, just slightly above ambient temperature.
Poached it.
Yeah, so that the exterior, because the inside's a marshmallow. You peel that outside off, you can make s'mores with that. It's a marshmallow. But that outside is like a poached surface. It's just like slightly warmed, and then it's just got sugar on it.
But the sugar has a weird flavor to it. Like toward the end, I was getting like pepperminty flavor. I didn't understand.
Well, I don't know. You guys will have to comment below too and let us know if you know better. But like, are the different colored ones taste the same, right?
I would imagine.
I bet there's some weird flavored ones though.
They might be flavored differently. In like, you have like your purple ones are grape and your blue ones are, I don't know. I obviously haven't been seeking out Peeps because I don't love them.
Yeah, I mean, so I bet the chocolate makes it better, but I don't think that's going to be enough to make it better. Go ahead.
Dream64 said Peeps are the Arby's of candy.
I can live with that.
I can get behind that.
They're really not great.
They're really bad.
One more little tidbit before we eat the one with chocolate. This is looking better. The chocolate on this is very rigid.
Yeah. Chocolate smells good.
One of the last things I did before I left home, and then Hannah and I met when I was away at school, I worked at this church. I basically led music for the youth services and stuff. It was a good time. But the gentleman who was the youth pastor there just started telling me one day that his brother I don't quote me here because it was such a long time ago, but I recall him saying he like ran the Peeps factory.
Really?
But it not ran it. He was real high up at it. That's what he did. And he would just randomly tell me tidbits that his brother told him. And this was back in the day before they did a lot of this. You can get Peeps cereal now. You can get Peeps flavored this and all this crazy other advertising. Now we're definitely living in a modern age where most candies and flavored things have this merchandise all over the place.
Yeah.
But this was before that, so he would always tell me, oh, they're doing Peep something or other this year. And I would always think, oh, that's kind of some crazy stuff. But I don't have an in at the Peep factory. If it were 10 years ago, I might.
You would have. Well, we have an in at the Peep factory here.
Really?
Where did he go? Oh, Sexy Blue says, I'm from the town where they're made.
Oh.
He says that everyone just eats them stale here. Why would you eat them stale?
That's it. You're going to have to elaborate on that. I don't
Sounds
understand.
Gross.
Okay, well, are you ready for the chocolate one?
No, because Jamie said the chocolate-covered ones are worse. I'm scared.
I bet you. Listen, well, this is the thing. You would expect, oh, it's going to be some Hershey-covered Peeps or something. It's some nondescript, generic chocolate. So it is. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Let's just do it. Are we going to chomp the whole thing or are we going to down it?
I mean, I guess just hork it back.
It's probably going to be way too much. All right, do it. Go. That's awful.
This is better.
It's just sugar.
I'm just tasting the chocolate. I put the chocolate on my tongue.
It legit feels like I just took a teaspoon of sugar in my mouth.
My teeth are sensitive. They are shaking right now. That's some Peep talk there.
That chocolate was dry. Oh my God!
It was dry.
I've almost tripped on this chair 5 times. This was bad. Why did we do this?
When you knocked the thing over earlier, I don't remember who commented it, but they said Tendo can drive a boat, but he can't walk in his own game. I thought it was funny.
These chairs aren't supposed to be here. Oh. They look good and we like them, but I need to leave it over here because I don't walk over here. If I don't move it now, I will kick it 5 more times. I did not like that.
You want to know what I'm really disappointed about now? I have so much chocolate on my teeth that is like stuck that I want something to drink, and all we have is Peep flavored lemonade. I'm so sad. Oh God, thank you.
I was gonna say, if you want to go brush your teeth, I'll fill the air for a minute. Did you mix the lemonade yet?
I don't know how if it like settles or something, so we might need to jostle it a bit again.
All right, well, I'm gonna pour you a baby cup, and I'm gonna pour me a Peep cup.
Which one did you like better, the chocolate or the regular?
Neither.
I
mean, listen, the chocolate one was worse, but that doesn't mean the other one was better. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand.
This is...
Ivan says he enjoys Peeps. Ivan.
My man Ivan?
Ivan. We need to talk.
I mean, if you're into that kind of thing, it's cool. What do you like about them, though? I poured way too much.
I don't know.
All right, give it another sniff test. Listen, before we drink it, I don't think this is just something you all can go buy or order real easy. This came packed in this Peeps cup with the Peep on it. And it says Peeps Marshmallow Flavored Lemonade Mix, and it's in the most generic bag possible, and the label is a sticker, an added-on sticker. So there's so much about this that is just wrong.
Ooh, 90s with GSD said next time you're going camping, you should make some s'mores with Peeps.
I bet they might be tolerable then, but be honest with me. Do they taste like anything other than marshmallows when you do that?
I mean, that's what I would hope. I would just want them to be like crunchy. My brain, whenever we first got them, was like, I want this to be textured marshmallow. So that whenever I bite into it, it's a little sweeter and you get that little extra crunch. But there's a weird flavor going on with it, and I don't know why. I
would posit that anybody that really loves that, it's a texture thing.
Yeah.
Do you know how some things you like to eat just because you like the texture a little bit more than you like the taste? That's gotta be what it is. Did Ivan say why he likes them?
He has not yet.
Ivan!
People are roasting him in the chat, though. It's really just Niagara Joe.
Is Ivan the only one that's popped up and been like, I love Peeps?
No, JRPG Life says him and Elisa both like Peeps.
That's good.
Which, okay, I guess. Again, we need to chat.
I'm really, really dreading this. It
I
smells.
am too.
Do you know what, like, the drink powder mixes for workout supplements taste like?
Yes.
Do you know what they smell like? This is what it smells like.
Well, that stuff smells like candy. It's weird.
It looks like that stuff too. All right, we just got to do this. I'm going to hate every minute of this.
Okay, Ivan has responded. I'm stalling for us. Ivan said, I'm not sure. My grandma used to give them to me as a kid. Perhaps it's a memory thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
fair.
That's like me and a thin crust Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's absolute garbage.
It tastes like cardboard.
It's literally a piece of cardboard with sausage on top of it. But I eat one a week because of the nostalgia of it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I feel you right here, brother. Let's just do this. I gotta stop thinking about it. Are you ready? Are we chugging? Are we sipping?
I'm gonna sip. I don't know if I can do a whole chug of this. All right.
I need to move back in case I spit on my video game.
Don't spit on the video games. They'll be peeped.
Oh, words cannot express how much I don't want to do this.
Oh, everybody keeps talking about the Reese's peanut butter eggs at Easter time. Those are the most superior Reese's, in my opinion.
When we were at the Hershey store, they had those for sale, and they were not advertised towards the holidays. They're not holidayized. You can just buy them there year round because they're the best.
They are.
Pro tip: if you're in Vegas, any time of the year, go buy yourself some eggs. Let's do this. Are we
Peep Teen Shake.
Huh?
Somebody Bobby F. Brown, Bobby F. J. Town says Peep Teen Shakes.
Chug it. Chug as much as you can.
Okay. It needs more powder.
Like it needs more mix?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like
here,
watered down.
I don't know. I don't think it is. It doesn't taste like it needs more powder. It tastes sour enough to be lemonade.
Yeah.
But there's an aftertaste of creaminess that is so faint. It just tastes bad. It tastes like some super cheap dollar mix from the dollar store. Do not recommend. Do not go buy that if you ever see it on the shelf. Walk the other way.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry if you were looking for a better me spitting it out. It's just like lemon and a little sugar. I don't know. It's weird. It's very odd. But before we move on from the Peeps and get into talking about some collecting things that we're getting into, definitely comment below and let me know if you've got any other weird drink, candy, holiday habits.
So, we were watching a late show recently, and they
Stephen
were bringing...
Colbert.
They were it was Kimmel, wasn't it?
A late show. I thought you meant because Stephen Colbert, instead of saying welcome to the late show, he now says welcome to a late show.
You're right.
But you were saying specifically a... Gotcha. So go ahead.
He brought up Peep's products that should not exist.
Okay.
I want to know if anybody has had the Peeps Pepsi, or Peepsy, if you like.
Sounds awful.
It sounds terrible.
It's going to be Pepsi with that same weird aftertaste is what it's going to be.
And so now that we've had the lemonade, I'm like, why? How would they make that flavor into a Pepsi and make it good? Like, I feel like that would be the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I'm not into it. I'm just standing here with a bad taste in my mouth. Well, before we move on, let me get a sip of water.
Yeah.
Hannah, you can go ahead and start moving these things off, and we'll get your Bratz dolls on the table.
Oh, yeah.
So what we're going to do, and why we're going to talk about Bratz today, is not so much to talk about Bratz, but you can see here in our game room that we're getting to a point where this collection's filling up the room. Some of my bottom shelves don't have stuff on them, or if they do have stuff, it's like the trash that I want to be below your eye line. I shouldn't say trash. It's still good stuff. I mean, my gaming manuals and stuff. But, you know, we're kind of getting to a point where our house is overrun between our collecting and our reselling business, our antique mall stuff. So that being said, we are trying to find better, more efficient ways to collect things. And a lot of our attempts at efficiency comes from clever ways to kind of limit ourselves to collect. So I've said on this channel 100 times, there's certain things we collect that if it fills up a shelf, we get rid of something. Like, I have some Pokemon plush that I'm quite fond of. However, it's one shelf, and as soon as there's too many to put on that shelf, I get rid of a couple. I give them to our friends Dan and Elisa. I sell them in our antique mall. I get rid of them. And it's about that time again, because you might recall recently I brought home a truckload, a bread truckload, a Boomhauer load, if you will, of plush, and in those plush was a really nice Charizard. He's going to go on that shelf. He's going to take up half of it. Look at all this Bratz stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Look at it. You guys have no idea. So every single bag at Goodwill that we've walked past that's had a single Bratz piece in it, we've bought it. You guys, if you watch today's mail time, you'll see, have sent us so much Bratz stuff that it's crazy. And we've been compiling all that. So the stuff here on the top-down table that you can see is just bags of stuff from the thrift and from you guys. And even, she's got Yu-Gi-Oh! Tins full of it. Pick one of these baskets up and put it in the center of the table.
So, I have now gotten to the point where I need not one giant basket, but 2 baskets.
But 2.
Of just dolls.
That's just the dolls. Well,
just dolls.
We don't need both those on the table right now. I do want them to see. So just like, you know, Bratz, hair, nakedness.
So much nakedness.
Right, but let's get out a couple of them from whichever basket that you want to just use to show off. Probably the new fancy one, for sure.
Okay, so I straightened up her hair and made her look all nice and pretty and pristine. And so she is actually fully complete and ready to go on the shelf. And I'm so pumped. Her name is Kumi. There are 3 dolls in this collection, and they have different color kimonos. But they all kind of look similar. Like, their hairstyles are slightly different, and I don't remember their names. But There are 3 in this collection. I have 1. And they're super rare.
It's one of your, like, dream things to have all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Well,
they're beautiful.
That brings up some important questions, right? Because what I was saying earlier was about how much we collect, like, you're going to end up having about a bookcase soon of just Bratz dolls and Bratz accessories and some of our inbox Bratz. You can see to the right of the center CRTV, the CRT up there is a Bratz doll. There's some more inbox ones down on our lower shelves. And what we're going to kind of talk about today is, like, we're going to split it into 2. What are your future plans and how you're going to display your good ones, and then how are you going to store some away? And then we have these boxes you can see on the edge of the screen. These are some sorters that I have collected over time from the thrift, knowing we were going to use them. Maybe in a future video, I'll show you guys how I sort some Lego, and you can see some of my Lego I have sorted into those by color. And it's these. Go ahead and grab one of these bins. I'll go ahead and talk about this a little bit. You might see these bins at your Goodwills regularly, and what they are is every now and then in a craft magazine or at Michael's or something, you might see these bins on sale. But more so, the Romanoff, I think, Romanoff products, they make these bins for other companies, custom order to sell stuff in. So you might have one of these around your house if your kid has ever been into the rubber band art.
Yes.
These come with rubber bands in them a lot. I actually have some of these, this exact case with a specialty lid. I'd get it out, but it would spill because it's so overflowed. with a Lego lid. They replaced this with a Lego lid, and that company makes all this and will sell it to your company to sell stuff in. But I noticed so much of this stuff at the thrift store at one point, I thought, you know what, if I just start collecting those, I'll have 20 or 30, which is important. Let me go grab something off screen. Sorters are kind of my thing.
Yes.
Sorters are something Hannah and I spend a lot of time on. And these are still pretty cheap. These are $10 a piece. And these are Husky brand from Home Depot. And I think Husky, something like that. And these were $10 a piece. And I bought a bunch of them. And I have about 30 of them in the house on a specific shelf. And in those, I organize little things. Like right here off camera, I can see my nails in one, screws in another, nuts in one, bolts in one. And it goes on and on like this. But those are kind of expensive, and those are actually a cheaper version of the real thing. There's a brand called Sortimo that makes these. They're super expensive, but they're super customizable to really put anything you want in these sorter cases. We can't afford those because it's like $100 for a box and $100 for the sorting trays. But I've paid about $1 a piece for all of these. Like, what is that sticker on that? Is that a Deseret sticker on that?
It is a Deseret sticker.
Show that to the camera center here.
It says $1.50.
It's $1.50 a Deseret. So I've got about 20 of these in the other room, and we're finally going to start putting them to use. So again, we're going to talk about, I want to know your thoughts on displaying them, your thoughts on storing them under the bed in the baskets, and then I want to know your thoughts, probably at the end, talk about how you're going to store some things in these cases.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm really excited about, because I have sorted a little bit to try to get this into something that makes a little bit more sense, because whenever I bring a doll home, it's usually in some sort of mess situation like this one, and I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what collection she's from, what she's supposed to wear, and the accessories that she goes with. And they usually come with 2 outfits. They don't always, but usually. And so I'll look at the pictures online, and I'll start to be like, okay, this is her shirt, and then these are her specific jeans. But whenever I was first starting to collect, I didn't have a ton, but now I'm starting to really amass. So now I can go in, and what I want is to be able to go in and go, okay, this is a Chloe. I need to go to the Chloe box and go look through all the Chloe shirts, the Chloe shoes, the Chloe pants, until I find her specific pieces if I have them. That is a long-term plan, because
So, I want to kind of act as the audience. I know so little about Bratz dolls. I probably know a lot more about Bratz dolls than you think that somebody running around like this, looking like this guy would. But I'm going to ask you, I don't want to interrupt you too much, but I want to ask you some questions along the way just to make sure I understand what you're saying. But you're basically saying you got bucket loads of boots and shoes.
Yes.
You bring a doll home.
Yes.
How the heck are you going to put the right clothes on it?
Correct.
So you're going to kind of walk us through your thoughts for doing that.
Right. So once I'm a lot more familiar with these pieces, I'll be able to go, okay, I recognize this Chloe as this collection, and her shirt would look like something like this, and I'll be able to like start to get these random bags of clothes home, and I'll go, oh, that's that Chloe shirt from, season, or from collection 2006,
Right.
This collection, that's definitely a Chloe piece, put it in the Chloe box for whenever I find that doll.
Gotcha.
But that's a lot of research later. There's some in here definitely that I know where they go because they're actually my childhood pieces. But what I would like to do first is just get these babies in some sorter boxes so they're not in Ziploc bags anymore, and I can sort through it a little bit easier.
Also, while we're doing this, you guys be sure to drop some comments below if you have any thoughts on extreme collection sorting. Because again, mind you, we do a lot of reselling on this channel. I don't think we, as of yet, have sold the Bratz doll. I think we've traded in a couple Furbies because I've come across doubles.
Yeah.
But even that, like, I'm trying to point out, like, there's some valuable Bratz doll stuff in this house now, but it's very rare. It's usually because it's the inbox stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But Hannah's goal is to go through and complete some of these dolls, and she's telling you the methods how. I want you guys to definitely comment below so we can have a little conversation before we wrap this video up about collecting and about organizing. If any of you have a really neat and awesome collecting method or something weird that you do, let us know. We'll definitely talk about it. But what do you got here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different categories that we can really split these up into. for instance, the shoes. The shoes are something that's very difficult because there are so many of them. And then again, you get 2 outfits with a doll. And so you'll have 2 pairs of shoes that go with 1 doll. And sometimes they're boots and heels. But the nice thing about the shoes that does kind of help get things narrowed down a little bit is that they do have skin tones that match the doll, of course.
Someone just said that they collect swords and dice. Well, tell us how you collect them. What do you do with the dice? I keep my dice in a gumball machine. Move over a little bit, Hannah. Maybe they can see it. Or my fat self is blocking.
It's right there.
Yeah, right there. That in the corner. Your bag's kind of blocking it. That's a dice full of gumball machine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what that is. I want to know how you guys organize these things. Go ahead.
Well, it's pretty easy to get through the Sasha shoes because there's only one character that has this skin tone.
Okay. Well, then let's do something with that. If they're those brown feet, because Sasha's a black character.
Correct.
If you find Bratz dolls that are darker skin tones like that, they're definitely going to be Sasha.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I think that brings up something really important. Then is that those right here?
Yes, these are Sasha shoes.
What we want to be able to do is we want to be able to walk into your little gaming closet setup, and I've got a little thing I'm building to where each one of these sorting containers slides into a rolly cart, so that you can just wheel it in here for live streams or whatever we're doing and pull one out. So inevitably, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're probably thinking about making 1 bin per clothing item per doll, right?
Yes.
So you're going to have a sorting bin for her shoes.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I'm going to have so much stuff that I'm going to need a full bin of just Sasha shoes, a full bin of just Sasha's clothes, and and then I have characters.
Got you.
Like dedicated to different bins.
You want to put her shoes in a blue bin?
I think I'm going to put her shoes in here because there's so few of them.
Okay.
And I'm going to fill the rest of it with boots.
Okay.
Because the boots are a little tricky to know who they belong to without going and pouring over all of the different sets.
Hillary said that the dice are in a pouch and the sword is under the bed. That's where they both belong.
Yeah.
I'm the crazy person putting them in a gumball machine. You guys should keep Bratz shoes in a gumball machine. Well, one of these days we want this game room setup thing we're doing to be a really big stage, with a big setup to walk around and do these live shows with like moving cameras. And there's definitely going to be a section of gumball machines with weird things like my dice and my Mexican market knockoff Beyblade in another gumball machine. I don't know, though, Hannah, you'd have to tell us how you would feel about putting your precious Bratz doll shoes in a gumball machine. It doesn't really sound like it's up your alley.
Well, the thing about it would be that I need access to these. I need to be able to pull them out and go, oh my gosh, I have these shoes, or no, I need to look for them still.
Well, Julie has a really good question for you. What do you use to research Bratz dolls in their original clothes? I've tried Google Scan, and it just says Bratz in general. I can see that. Monster High, you take a pic, and it tells you everything.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with the first question. What do you use mostly?
There is a Wix page.
A wiki?
This one is WIX.
Okay.
And it's...
It is a... wiki is now a... is it just a term for an organization page, I guess. So Wix is probably just another wiki.
Probably, yeah. There is a Bratz wiki as well. I don't find it to be as all-inclusive. It's not as helpful as this Wix page that I've found because they show photos of every collection. The Bratz wiki has more collections on it,
okay,
but you can't always see the photos of it. So that to me is not super helpful because I need to know like what this doll comes with. Whenever the Wix page that I've used isn't really helping me, I then go to eBay and then search whichever character it is so that I can find close-ups of her hair and her face, her clothes and all that stuff, and then it will start to help me figure out which pieces go with which.
I want to point out that one pair of boots took up this whole section because they're so large. It's so ridiculous.
It's so funny because like you start to notice the different generations as you go through. Like this is from 2004,
okay.
2005.
How do you know that? Just because you remember looking it up or something?
This is actually one of my shoes.
Oh.
I wrote my...
Is that your initials?
But the other shoe says HC, and then this one says DC because this is Hannah D. Chloe's shoes. So I wrote my name on all of my shoes.
Wow, so you had a better filing system when you were 12 than you do now. You keep these in sandwich bags under your bed now. You had these bad boys initialed and ready to go.
I'm trash.
I didn't know that. That's the best thing I've heard all day.
I did.
Oh, man.
I went over to my friend's house a lot, and I played with them, and so they had a ton of pieces, and so I didn't want to end up bringing...
You're like my dad, who always wrote his name on his underwear.
I wrote them on my Bratz stuff.
What situation are you in, Dad? That you need to write your name on your underwear in case they get mixed up. I'm not judging.
I mean...
but he always, anyways.
He goes to people's houses that do a lot of laundry together. I don't know.
Petty Dub says, I collect Marvel Legends. Okay, this is a good one. McFarlane DC Multiverse and a bunch of figures. I keep all accessories and sorting containers. Everything is pretty much in my head as far as knowing what goes where. Just don't mix them from tub to tub. That's an interesting one. What I want to follow up to that. What you display some of them, right? You have like a game room, and what do? Do you rotate some things out? Because there's a huge component of that to this. A lot of the sorting that Hannah's doing right here is simply because she's in the early stages of collecting something. What's something I have here that I'm in later stages of collecting, would you say? I mean, video games, I'm like in mid.
For sure.
I don't know that we have anything that we're super late stage, because like if you've been collecting those figures for ages, you're probably in a much different place for us, and I'd love to have that conversation. But Furby I've got a lot of, but I'm just now to where it takes up half a bookcase. But the idea here is Hannah's bringing in so many dolls a week. She's trying to piece them back to the original outfits that they were in 2012. Right. And these containers are going to hopefully help her do that. Tell us what you did here before you move on from that. Just boots, right?
I went ahead and did Sasha shoes and boots.
Okay.
So I've color coordinated them, tried to put the actual two pair together. So now I can go to this bin and I can go, okay, I need, for this Chloe doll, I need a pair of brown boots. And then I can go through and be like, oh, okay, cool. Here's, this is similar, or like right. Maybe they're these boots, but I can at least know really quickly whether or not I have them.
Someone said Ziplocs ain't glamorous, but they are always around. Listen, the 99-cent store has, I don't know if you guys have a 99-cent store. It's kind of a Western United States thing, really. They have 2-gallon Ziploc bags, $1 for 10, and they're really strong, rigid bags. I've got, since we moved to this apartment, I've got plastic containers over here with these 2-gallon bags with Wii parts and components. Never ripped a bag. Always awesome. That's the best comment of the day. I should pin it. They're not glamorous, but they work. That's how I keep all my video game stuff organized. All right, tell us what you're doing on this second container.
So the second container, I am going to go ahead and put all the boys' stuff in here. So I do collect the boys as well. I am not as excited about them. So I'm going to just go ahead and put them all together. There's not as many of them either, so I feel like one sorter should do it.
Okay, I've got a couple more comments here we have to talk about. I've been tracking down some of the wrestling figures I had when I was growing up and doing some customization. What are you doing? Are you immediately putting them on the shelf and displaying them, or are you putting them away somewhere? I'd be interested to know what you're doing with them. Someone else says, I have the My Little Ponies in the closet. They're supposed to be on shelves, but I'm still post-moving mess. I know about that. I could talk at length about that also. Let's see. There's another one I really wanted to read. Every figure is on display at the moment. Space is limited though, which was the follow-up to the about them being put away. That's such a difficult thing to do when you collect something and you're out of space. What do? Do you get rid of some? That's maybe something else we can have a conversation about. At what point are you gonna be like, no more dolls?
Yeah, I don't know. That is tough because like, how do you? I don't know. The collector goal is to get them all, isn't it? Got to catch them all. But then whenever you have something like Bratz dolls or Barbies, and it's just like 400 or so pieces in 1 year, like how do you do this?
I have no idea why you did what you did there. Please explain. I can see no rhyme or reason.
So I went ahead and did shoes this side, clothes this side, room to grow.
Okay.
And jackets up here, shirts.
What are you going to do with, like, okay, this is going to be in a case with this side showing. What are you going to
Yes.
do with it so you know which case to pull off?
So I think stickers is going to be a really good thing to help with organization. If I have like right here on the front, like Bratz Boys, the logo there.
Right.
And just so whenever I look at it, I go, oh, here's the boys box because it says it right there. And then, you know, you could do the Yasmin box. Each of the dolls have their own symbol as well. So I could do like a full on little, like her name and then her little symbol over here. Like Yasmin is the frog. So I could have like a little frog sticker there, do a little customization. I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah, it'll be good. We have a sticker maker machine too, so it'd be really easy to do. This is definitely something we'll have to show off in a future video one day because, you know, you're getting to the point where you don't necessarily have complete collections of shoes and stuff, but you've got enough of everything that for pretty much every character you can start making a sorter case for.
Yeah. Definitely, because I mean, there's 4 main characters. You have Chloe, Yasmin, Sasha, and Jade, and those 4 characters come up multiple times throughout each year,
right,
throughout each collection. So you amass a ton of stuff for at least those 4 characters. There are other characters that they only may have had 1 or 2 dolls from. Like I do have one up there is the Audrey doll, and she's really only in 1 collection.
Okay.
So I don't really want to have a whole box dedicated to just Audrey if there's only like 1 set of her stuff.
Joe is pointing out someone has asked about a Shrek Bratz doll. Do
There
you know
is
about this?
a Shrek and a Spider-Man Bratz doll.
Why don't we have them?
They are so rare.
Wow.
So the only thing like Shrekish about them is that her hair is like got green
She's
streaks
not like
in
Fiona
it.
Big,
No, she doesn't look like a Shrek doll. She's
So
not
she's
like an
lightly
ogre.
themed.
Yeah, it's like she's got green streaks in her hair. It's cute, and one day like I'll come across it and be really stoked about it. And the Spider-Man one is cool because she's got like black hair with like red streaks in it.
Right.
So she does look really pretty.
I have a thing. I have a thing to plug my laptop into our streaming setup so we can Google things together. I'll have to get that plugged up by next week because we need to be looking at this together. Because what?
I know, right? It's so weird.
Let's see. Collecting is definitely an addiction. I will probably never stop buying, but there's nothing wrong with rotating out your display every now and then. Also gives you an excuse to play with your stuff. That is such a great point. We haven't suffered from that too much as we've started collecting a few things and decided against it. Not because we decided those things weren't important enough, but like right now I have to really be careful in the way that I explain things. I don't want to make it too confusing. I keep finding that the more I can interact something that I collect with the channel, the more I like the thing in the moment. So you guys have noticed I've done a lot of Furby stuff over the last month. That has made me want to collect Furby even more. So there's some things that I kind of got rid of just to make more space for more Furby.
Yeah.
You know, it's little things. Like I have a pretty serious McDonald's toy collection, and we slimmed that down to some of the more nostalgia specific things rather than just all of it to make more room for Furby and Bratz. So that's a really good point. It's a really good point. What if Hannah started grading Bratz dolls for a side gig?
Ooh.
I would be very curious about the market for people wanting their Bratz doll graded, is all I have to say to that.
I don't know. I guess if you're really passionate as a collector, wouldn't you want the like most pristine version of it? I feel like there could be.
Some would. But Rose wants to know how many Bratz dolls you have now. Have you
I haven't
counted
counted them? I actually don't know. I have 2 baskets worth.
This is a great question too. Do you label stuff? Basically just a general question about labeling.
Yeah.
Yes. What is your preferred labeling method? I have a couple. I can talk about that for a while.
You do. I think I don't like to go super ham with labeling. I like just general, like a little bit, you know, like.
They opened a can of worms.
I know.
I label everything. All right, here's one of my labeling methods. I cut out vinyl stickers, so you can see here this says camera, and I have, like I said earlier, I don't know how many of these boxes, 30 or so, sorter boxes with my tools and hardware in them. Every one of them is labeled on the front, so you can see it one way with just a label maker, just a 1-inch label, and then the sides with. I went through a really big process at one point where all of my stuff was first labeled with just little strips, just your label maker, cut, put it on. And I realized I was walking into my workshop to get something, or I was walking into our closet or our storage unit to get some of this stuff out that we're talking about, and I would be like squinting, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Finally, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I went back and relabeled everything I owned with these huge high contrast vinyl cutouts, and now I have no problem. When I walk into the room from across the room, I can pick out what I need.
It is very nice because there's a lot of times you're working on a project and you are like arm deep in it and you can't run to the house to go get one of these boxes. And so I have to go, you have to go get me the camera box. And I'll be like, okay. And I go in and trying to figure out which box is the camera box without any context would be a nightmare.
Yeah. And so those big contrast stickers are good. Another method, if it's not something that I need to look at or is ever really on camera, like my baskets that just have my junk that I kind of sort from the thrift, I label those with black gaff tape with silver marker.
Yeah.
Again, high contrast. But that's like low tier. If it just needs to be labeled so I remember what's what, black tape, silver marker. If it's something technical for my use for my workshop, I usually do huge vinyl cutouts so it just streamlines the process of finding it. I don't use label makers much anymore because I prefer that vinyl method so much. But then if it's something for our collection that is like our Pokemon cards, I don't have any of our Pokemon card boxes in here, but I've even went as far as making custom wraps for our Pokemon card boxes to make them look like Pokemon card boxes did in the 90s. I've redone the artwork and enlarged them, and with sticker paper I printed them out and rewrap boxes. I go that far with labeling. And then if not, like our simple Pokemon card organization boxes, I've printed, Pokemon cards are organized by their sets, and their sets all have symbols. And so I print out real large versions of their symbols as big as I can and slap them on the end of the box. Because when you're sorting Pokemon cards, you're looking at the bottom, you're looking for that symbol, which boxes this go in. My eyesight's not that bad. I mean, I'm getting older, it's getting a little worse, but I don't like struggling to find something sitting right in front of me. So I print real big labels for our Pokemon cards like that.
And it's really cool to be able to put a little bit of love into your collection that way as well. You know, you got to make something artistic to go and decorate this box that this thing is going to live in. It just pours a little bit more passion into it and get to play with it.
Well, you'll have to comment below and let us know if that was as big of an answer as you'd hoped, or were you just hoping I'd say, I have a label maker.
I'm pro label. But it'll be interesting with how much these collections grow, because obviously there's a lot of room to grow in these boxes. But eventually these things will be completely chock full, and maybe I'll need to have, you know, a Yasmin box of just sandals, or Yasmin heels box, Yasmin boot box, and then I'll have to start to break it down even further. But yeah, I think just a label on the front for me will be completely fine. I don't need to go into like labeling the top of this box to be like heels, boots.
You need a label on the front so you can pull it off a rack without looking for it too hard.
Correct.
When someone asked earlier how many Bratz you had, someone replied, 2 Bratzkits worth.
2 Bratzkits.
Dream64 said, time for another Peep, ? I'd rather die.
Oh my God, no, thank you. I feel a little sick.
Not interested. Let's see, what else? Are you going to shave your head and beard again after your second year of making it? Probably not. I've just been keeping it short about like it is right now. I shave it, I trim it back about every 2 weeks. About that time again. About time for a haircut again.
You happy with your look?
I mean, you know, it is what it is at this point. I look exactly what I look like. Is this all high heels that you're doing now?
So these, kind of what I was talking about earlier, the dolls have different skin tones. So these, I went ahead and did all the lighter skin tones. The Sasha shoes are easier because she's the only black character, but then you've got more of the brownish shade, which is what I had before that. But there's Fiona, there's Yasmin, there's even Dana is a little bit darker complected as well. And so all those shoes look very similar. And then these are like your Chloe, your Jade, and then there's some of those more smaller, lesser characters, your Roxy and Phoebe and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
All of their shoes as well. So these are going to be a little bit trickier to eventually get into their correct character boxes.
Okay.
But right now I'm kind of separating it out into like heels and then certain next generation heels, older generation heels.
So you have what I'm gathering through this conversation is that you have a much different intention for your end game of sorting than you do now. You don't have enough to sort everything into the box that's going to end up. So you're combining some things.
Right.
Because again, eventually you're going to have basically a box for so-and-so's shoes, a box for so-and-so's tops.
Yeah. And I'll have them all color coordinated and have like, here are her blue heels. Here are her pink heels.
Matt said, great answer. Love the idea of making the whole box stand out with custom wraps. I highly, highly recommend a vinyl cutting machine. All the modern ones will also cut sticker papers, and they'll allow you to make your own custom sticker labels. If you're into labeling an organization like I am, I think you'll really do well with one. However, I would like to add an addendum to that recommendation. I would either do your research and or potentially, for the time being, stay away from the Cricut cutters. I just got an email that the software for my Cricut cutter that I just bought not 5 months ago to do all this stuff we're talking about is going to a subscription-based software. So whereas I didn't have to pay for any software to use the machine, I could just use the machine as it was, I'm now having to pay for software, and it's not looking like it's going to be incredibly cheap. Other makers of cutters do not look as though they're going to be going to this model yet, so I'm thinking about selling that one off to someone who's interested in that kind of thing, and then going with a different cutter. I use that tool more than anything. All this stuff we're talking about, so much of our collection behind us has labels and other things made with my vinyl cutter. Joe says, so many shoes!
So many shoes.
There is a lot.
It's insane. And it's like, some of them I have, okay, they are different. I was like, looking at the tops of them, like these two look the same, but they're not. There's a ton.
I want to show this off. Rose said she needs those sorted for Legos, and I said this earlier that I had one of these, but I might as well go ahead and show it. This is the exact same brand of box, but if you look down on top, it has a Lego board on top. So I've got my minifig collection very not sorted on top. These are a little bit harder to find than the boxes that Hannah's using. Those boxes that she's using, like I said earlier on in the video, they're all for different products, but from the same manufacturer, so they look like they go together. And I'm lucky enough that we have 200, 300 thrift stores here in town, and they show up there a lot. There's not an easy way for me to tell you where to buy them, because I think if you just buy them individually from the manufacturer, they're like 20 bucks a piece. Ooh. And you can get much nicer sorting boxes than this at any of your craft stores for $20 a piece. So wrap up, what's that box?
So this is the lighter skin toned shoe box. So eventually we'll be separated into the Chloe box, the Jade box, the Phoebe box, the Roxy box, all that fun stuff.
Dan said this wasn't the foot fetish video I was hoping for.
Well, you don't like detachable feet?
Anthony says, I'm a Transformers collector. I display almost everything in cabinets. I have a bin just for accessories, another bin for instructions, and another for spare parts. You guys rock. Well, thank you. That's an interesting one, because it's like, have you ever watched, I get so far into organization, and I like that kind of thing, like tickles my fancy so much. I'll watch some YouTube videos randomly about people with unbelievable second houses just for their Lego collection.
That's insane.
Right? Like they have so much room set aside just for the Lego collection. It's the same thing. That closet's for manuals. That closet's for original boxes. These sorting cabinets are all for this color Lego. It's crazy stuff. That's hilarious.
If you really love what you do and you've got the money for it, I guess, why not?
I have a couple of craft stores here. I'll check them out. Thanks for the advice. Yeah, do for sure check them out. Once or twice, and again, 99-cent stores are kind of a California, Western United States thing. Again, you all have a dollar store. Like, we have Dollar Generals and that stuff, too. But out west here, there's a store called 99 cents stores. Or what? 99 cents or
99
more.
cents only.
Yeah. And, it's just kind of a thing. And they have a little bit more than, I don't know if they have more than a regular dollar store. It's just different. It's also kind of a hardware. It's really random, and it's really specific to the area. But I was in there the other day, and they had these $2.99 bins, sorter boxes, a little bit smaller than this, but very nice. And I was looking at them thinking, I should buy 20 of those and build a rack for them and sort something specific in them.
Yeah.
Sorter bins can be had for pretty cheap. You just gotta, the bins that Hannah's using here, these tabs are not removable or movable because each one of these were molded to the manufacturer. The manufacturer molded them to the specific instructions to whoever was buying them to sell other stuff in. So they're all a little bit random. The sorter boxes I use that I've been showing off, they came with specific size bins in them, but I have a 3D printer and was able to print my own bins of varying sizes for each different thing I was sorting in them, because the penultimate company that sells these sorter boxes is called Sortimo, and they make these infinitely customizable setups where you can use different size bins inside the sorter, and they're easily retrievable. But I wanted something like that without spending $200 per sorter, so I made my own bins for my own sorter boxes. So there's a lot of way to go. What'd you do here?
So it is kind of a bummer that you can't move these around, because it would be really nice to be able to reconfigure this to make it suit my needs a little bit more, but you know, that's always the goal. This I made into a jackets and tops box. So you've got a ton of these like cute bulky jackets, but then these teeny tiny little tops. So I went ahead and did thicker jackets, denim jackets, track jackets. I have a lot of stuff from the Lil Bratz collection.
Oh, those are like kids' clothes.
They're teensy tiny ones.
Or you're gonna end up with a bin just full of kids' clothes.
Probably. Look at this teeny tiny swimsuit.
That's
like,
awful.
What even is this?
It's hard to not think that's just a piece of trash. JRPG Life said, ever thought of blooding up some of the mismatched feet and Bratz bloody parts for a sweet Halloween diorama? That's not a bad idea. I will say we have done a terrible job in our 2 years of making videos of being opportunistic about holidays and stuff. Like, we need to make holiday specific content. We're trying to do better this year. That's why I went out of the way to find the Peeps today for this video. We're just bad at it.
Yeah.
That's really just all there is to it.
We wake up and go, today's Tuesday, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh my God, today's Easter. That's what happened today. Joe said, I'm Canadian. I'm Canada, the main chain. Okay, he's saying I'm Canadian. The main chain dollar stores are Dollarama and Dollar Tree. Joe has sent me some sick pictures of like the kinds of Pokemon cards and stuff they sell in his dollar stores up there. It's sick. I definitely need to hit up those dollar stores next time we're up there. But listen, we're going to finish up Hannah's sorting here and stuff. We'll take a couple more questions and do a little bit more chatting. So if you got any more questions you want to answer before we get out of here, drop them, because we're going to wrap this up very shortly. Nightmare Before Christmas do a Nightmare Before Christmas Bratz.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Like a Sally Brat.
Yeah.
And then, well...
We have an airbrush. You could start,
This is true.
You can start airbrushing the faces.
There's a bunch of really fun collectors who do really fun themed styled dolls, and they'll like really deck them out and stuff. And I always admire that, so it's definitely something I'd be interested in doing.
Bobby said, I saw the Monster High Castle at Goodwill yesterday. I feel like I've seen that a few times. It shows up at the Goodwill sometimes. Have you ever come across Polly Pockets to collect? Not a lot. I'd love to have a couple on our shelf, just to give it some representation.
Yeah.
We found like the Polly Pockets and the Mad Max toys a couple times, but not what they go in or their accessories. That's one of those things on my list. About once a month, we find something at the thrift we just have to buy it and kind of get into for a while, like Pez. We only ever got into that because we found a box of 1,000 of them at once. One of these days, I feel like I'll find a giant bag full of Polly Pocket or some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And maybe I'll get into it then, but no. So,
honestly, the jeans, go figure, are some of my favorite of the Bratz pieces. Like, don't tell me you don't want a pair of these jeans. Like, seriously.
Oh, yeah.
These are so cool.
Show these to the top-down camera. We've had 4 or 5 comments today about you color blocking a pair of jeans for them.
Yeah.
And that's almost exactly what's going on there.
So this is actually the pants that go to one of the dolls I got on Mailtime. I actually had this doll as a kid.
From today?
Yeah.
So someone sent you the doll today in mail, and then you already had the clothes for it.
Yeah, because she's actually...
That's crazy how much... how many of these dolls we complete right now just because of all this stuff.
This is the doll that I got sent.
You got this today.
This is the one I had as a kid, but we got this one today as well.
And it's buried in the Bratz kit.
It is, yes, in the Bratz kit. But it does bring up a very interesting conversation that, most of these dolls come with 2 sets of clothes. Do I get 2 dolls and put them both in their respective clothes? This is one of her sets.
Right.
Her other set is this
That's such a mind, like,
These.
it hurts my brain to try to make decisions like this sometimes.
Yeah.
Every Bratz stall comes with 2 sets of clothes.
Most of them.
Most
Not
of them
everyone,
do.
but most
So
of them.
you're thinking if you ever get, and someone asked earlier what our trash world looks like, and that's another wormhole we don't necessarily need to get into, but there's 2 sets of clothing with Bratz stall. You're thinking maybe when we have our trash world set up and space is an issue, $2 per original release.
Yeah.
So you can put both outfits on a doll on display. You're a mad woman.
But I think it would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be really nice to display both of them. She's one of my favorite dolls. I'm really glad I have 2 of them. I might just go ahead and do that anyway.
Right. Yeah, I understand. That's awesome. It's nice to see this many people, supporters in the chat without any trolls. That's amazing. Yeah, I appreciate the positive community we have. We do have some spam bots here, though, but that's easy to deal with.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about being able to do this. You know, we only make these videos because we love the trash. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like one of the biggest things about this. Like, we do have to resell to make our living, and that's all fine, and we definitely like making content about that. But I think I wouldn't enjoy doing what we do half as much if we didn't do the collecting stuff that we're talking about right now. And I think it's that love for that makes a lot of people kind of want to come and hang out and do what we do. But yeah, you guys rock, and thanks for coming. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I guess I can answer that question. Someone asked, a couple people asked what Trash World is going to look like. I shouldn't even give it a name.
Yeah.
But we plan on, you know, if we continue to trend upward and make a little bit more money doing what we're doing, we definitely want a space to do these live shows and to do our collection display in bigger and better. And then at some point make more content about, not necessarily more content about collecting rather than reselling, but just like a lot more stuff like what we're doing right now, focusing on, look at these shelves I built to display this Pokemon collection. And when we're able to do that, it'll probably be these shelves, but about 3 times taller. You know, the old school library ladders. I want the around the room ladder where you can go all the way around and climb up the top shelf and look at that stuff. Like, I got really, and then the whole floor is gonna be lined with gumball machines. Each gumball machine with random things. And honestly, I've got a notepad that I write down ideas for future Trash World on, and it's always really stupid, random stuff like gumball, what to fill another gumball machine with. You know, and things like that. It's just something. It's just something that we really, 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 really are looking forward to, and I think in the next year or two. It's not gonna. I'm not gonna buy a warehouse. I'm not gonna rent a warehouse next year because I'm not gonna. A, I'm not gonna be able to afford it yet next year, and B, I'm not gonna have enough stuff to fill it. But I think the future of this channel is gonna be a lot more thrifting out on the road just to bring stuff back home. Like, we'll probably drive the country in a smart car and ship stuff back home to put into the collection on display and do really cool stuff that way. And there'll still be everything you like about this channel, all the adventure, but you know, at that point, by then, Hannah's going to have one of every Bratz stall, and then it just has to be displayed. Whether or not we're working towards something where people can come visit it like a museum, I don't know. I'm not really worried about all that stuff yet. I'm just worried about making this collection look awesome and then having a bigger space for it, and then doing more live stuff in front of it where we might just go live one day when it's more about this than reselling and some of the other stuff we do. You say, what do you guys want to talk about today? You say Power Rangers, and I go get everything off the Power Rangers shelf, and we just sit here and look at it. So that's kind of what's going on with that. I'm going to have to buy a Trash Life shirt when I get my little resale business off the ground. I appreciate y'all. I've been here when it was not even 2K subs. Y'all do a great job. I love the bread, truck build, and travel. Well, thank you so much for saying so. We're gonna do another one of those hashtag Trash Life drives pretty soon. We've been working on some new merch, and we're actually waiting for some stuff to come in so we can start showing it off. It's gonna be Trash Life Central here in a couple weeks. You can't quit. I just got here. Well, go back and rewatch this bad boy. We're already going a little bit long right now. What is your rarest GameCube game? Pokemon Coliseum.
Just got that.
And I just found it. TENDO, love the stream, guys. Have you thought about putting hood pins on the smart car to keep the hood more secure? Not really, because the only time it's not been secure is the one time we went in a car wash and the huge pressure jets got underneath of it. Otherwise, it's not been a problem. It would just be overkill for what it is. Because smart cars don't have a hood. They've got a piece of plastic that just straps in. It's not a hood. I mean, not that I couldn't do it, but I don't want to do any serious modifications at the moment. But good question. Hashtag Trash Life, that's what I'm talking about. Before we get out of here, guys, definitely hit that like button. Do hit the subscribe button if you're somehow here and you haven't subscribed already. Also, there's a few different things you can subscribe to in the links in the description of this video. We have a channel where a lot of clips from this show go on to. We have a second channel where we do gaming stuff. So before we get out of here, definitely go check those links. And definitely set a reminder for yourself to come back for our next live show. Same time next week we'll be doing that. But I appreciate all of you being here. Hannah, wrap us up about your thoughts about your Bratz doll collecting. Because when we shoot our daily videos, it's kind of my job to just like talk to the camera, walk to the store, say what we're going to do today. You don't get a lot of opportunities on day to day to like, you honestly don't have the time to sit and look at a camera and say, here's my Bratz collection, So
yeah.
This is a perfect opportunity for you to really tell us how you feel about it.
Well, I'm really excited to have gone through all of the little accessory bits because honestly, I didn't realize how much I had yet. And so now seeing it all and being able to go, okay, this is what I have. I have way more accessories than I ever thought I had. This box is actually pretty chock full. But yeah, it's really cool. I have been really enjoying getting all these dolls and fixing them up and making them look back to their original glory. And now getting them all into these little sorter bins is going to make it so much easier to dress them and get them back to that former glory. And I'm really looking forward to this organization to start getting more and more in depth, because now that it's all put into places that make sense to start, now I can start going through that research and going, okay, I'm going to try to pick out all the Chloe shoes today and start like, okay, I have these for this set, and I'll start to get way more familiar with everything.
Right.
And each doll, whenever I see it at the thrift, I'll be able to be like, oh my gosh, I have these shoes for this one because it's in this bin and I remember this and all this stuff. And it'll make it so much more exciting to actually track these things down, because most of the time I'm like, oh, it's a Bratz doll.
Right.
Now I gotta figure out what it is.
Now I gotta go dig through these two huge baskets of stuff to figure out what goes there.
Yeah.
I get it. Well, that's awesome. I think next time this comes up, we'll probably talk about, we'll basically talk about the cart that we're going to build these cases into.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to come with this, but we got a few more questions here. We're going to rapid fire them. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to get out of here and get back to work. Let's see. There was one question. I really enjoyed the episodes about your reselling and antique stores. Any plans to bulk out that side of the content? I don't know. I'd be interested to know how long you've been watching us. We very much so, both Hannah and I get bored easy. So if you watch us long enough, you'll see us fall in and out of interest with all of the stuff we do. We'll get a little bit tired of Bratz, so we'll get overwhelmed with it. I'll get overwhelmed with Power Ranger collecting. And I just we put a little focus in something else. But the cool thing is, we're into what we're doing so much. We know we're going to be doing this for life. And we allow ourselves to go up and down a wave. So we've had solid months of just antique mall, building stuff for them, et cetera, et cetera. Honestly, right now, we're just coming out of a downswing with the antique malls. We just got really tired of them before our vacations, but now we're kind of back and realizing some changes we can make.
Yeah.
So, yes and no. If you're, and I'm not saying this to criticize your question, it's a great question, but if anyone else is watching that isn't into change and all over the place kind of way of doing things, that person's probably not going to have a good time here, because we'll do some of that soon, but then we'll get bored and do something else. But thank you for the question. Can't wait, Tendo, for the next show. Have a beautiful night. Maybe one night we can talk about music. Not only would I like to talk about music on this channel, I'd love to play some, but I need to make more friends locally, because we want to do some live shows with music at the beginning and end and stuff, and weird performance. Like we could write a Furby song, and just do some goofy stuff with music. Funny enough, if we were living in Kentucky right now, I could call an endless number of people to be here to play live music. but I don't know that many people here in Phoenix where we live. But thank you for saying so. I'm glad I caught the live. Happy Easter. Can't wait for the future streams. Can't wait for you to come back. I'll be back again next week. Thanks for being here this time. Let's see. Peace out, Ivan. Thanks for stopping by. Do you ever think of doing a Bratz database and website to sell your extra accessories? Have you ever thought about it?
Well, a database would be really nice, because I was even talking to you earlier today that those two websites I mentioned earlier are really the only source of like a compilation that you can really find on the internet, and those aren't exactly perfect. And I would really love to get a database of every doll with like the pictures of their face, their hair, their clothes that they come with, the shoes that they come with, and just be able to like sort it by character or sort it by collection, sort it by whatever, and so it'll make it way easier to piece all these things together. So it's very hard sometimes to look up a doll and be like, okay, I know it's a Chloe, and I know it's probably from this era because of the shape of her eyes or the like size of her feet and that kind of thing. But then you're like minutely looking through, okay, she has blue eyeshadow on this one, but pink lips. That one's got blue eyeshadow with red lips, so that's not it either. And it's very difficult.
Right. Well, a lot of people are telling us to give love to the cats.
Yeah.
So we'll do that when we get out of here. But thank you guys so much for the questions. Thank you so much for hanging. Thank you so much for subbing. I appreciate every one of you. This video is about to end, so make sure you hit that live button, I have to hit the live button. You have to hit the like button before we get out of here. Check those links out down below before we go. Do not recommend the Peep lemonade. Stay away from it. Burn it with fire. And until next time, guys, we love you all. Peace out.